Hello and welcome to In the Weeds. We're recording live from the Picky Weeds Esoteric Occult Boutique, located just south of Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, in beautiful South Abington Township. Picky Weeds is the largest and most diverse boutique of its kind in Northeast Pennsylvania, with an increasingly wide variety of items for many traditions.
In addition to items for sale, Picky Weeds hosts a wide variety of classes, events, and community-driven gatherings throughout the year. Picky Weeds is located at 105 Layton Road, South Abington Township, PA. Open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. More information can be found at www.pickyweeds.com. That's PICKEYWEEDZ.com, or on our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. In the Weeds is the official podcast for Picky Weeds, where we strive to bring the community together with topics of interest, guest speakers, and informative discussions to benefit the entire community.
If you'd like to be a guest speaker, either live or remote call-in, please visit www.pickyweeds.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, find In the Weeds podcast guest application, click it, copy and paste the text into an email with your contact information, and send it to us at pickyweeds@gmail.com.
Now let's get in the weeds.
Good morning, my loves. How is everybody this morning? Cold. Ready for this warm streak this week. So I know a lot of you follow us on social media. So some of you here that follow us on the podcast around the world might not have heard about our thieves this week. We have 2 community altars set up in the building. And those altars are for people to give money to the ancestors and to the spirits for, whatever, for love, for healing work, for specific work they need done in the spirit realm. And sometimes just, because you're feeding your ancestors in this adoration and that's tradition. But that money, we make sure it's earmarked to go back to the ancestors' children. So we picked a charity when we first opened that we absolutely fell in love with. I was standing outside of the building crying like a little girl child, very, very emotional, because I saw the sign that said, "Take what you need, leave what you can." And it was a 24-hour food pantry that is on the honor system totally, and nobody monitors it because they want people to not feel watched, followed, controlled. You need what you need, and they get that. And these ladies at the gathering place are so amazing. Shout out to Paula and Dory at the gathering place. They do so much in this community and host so many classes and are just such wonderful people. And that food pantry harkened back to my days in the South when farmers had honor stands out beside the road, and found that more people tipped than not on the honor stand. And they tend to do better if they let people behave without feeling like they're controlled, watched, or priced out of the market. So they did really, really well with those stands. And this just kind of spoke to our heart, and we decided this is going to be our charity for the money on the altars. And so that money that these 3 girls stole on Wednesday this week off of that altar, that was going to feed people in this community, the children of the ancestors. And I hope you sleep well, because we didn't work any magic on you, sweet people. We don't have to. The ancestors see you. They watch you. You will have to pay for that. And I hope that you connect the dots on the troubles that you have in the future with what you did here on Wednesday.
Yeah, it was just fucking despicable.
It was disgusting.
I mean, I don't even think they were from around here.
I don't
It looked
either.
like they had out-of-state plates. Yeah, we have outside cameras too. We have your vehicle and all of that. And the video of you stealing is all sent to South Abington PD, who are fucking amazing, by the way. Every interaction we've had with our local PD has been overwhelmingly positive. Very professional, very decent. No egos and all that crap. They're just constables in the area.
Yeah, they are. They're amazing.
They've done a great job. And every time we've needed them, they've been right there. So hats off to them. The officer was, I think, equally just like, wow, really?
Disgusted.
It's one thing, you see times are hard. And I'm not condoning stealing anything, but, you know, you can almost understand it, you know, if somebody's hungry, you know.
And they're taking
starving.
food, yeah.
These three walked in designer clothes. They were obnoxious and belligerent and loud and really not criminal masterminds, you know. If you're going to steal something.
Hell. She looked right at the camera with the...
Just immediately.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They were, I don't know if they were under the influence or just,
it was dumb criminal day.
or just general assholeian behavior. But you're a special kind of piece of shit, stealing from not only the community but the dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and
despicable. Beneath my contempt, honestly.
I hope the $20 was worth it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just pathetic. We have had that community altar open to the public for 5 years.
Yeah.
No one has ever bothered it. Ever. And there's been other young people that you could see were thinking about it, but then decided against it.
Yeah.
These people, I'm so disappointed.
These are the type of people that would take candy out of a baby's mouth. That's the type you're dealing with there. They're entitled. You can tell they've never had a hardship.
Yeah.
Extremely full of themselves and entitled.
Yeah. I don't know if they're local or if they're from somewhere else traveling or what, but
I got a picture of you, young lady, you little dark-haired one, with the $5 bills in your hand that laid on either side of the column.
Oh, yeah. So there's mostly dollar bills, so the 5s and 10s really stand out, and you kind of remember where they're at, and the camera had a really good view of where they were. Like, you could literally see them before and then gone after, and then you could see her take the money and literally turn around, look at the camera with a dumb look on her face, with the money folded up, clearly visible in her hand. I mean, it doesn't get any more clear cut.
No. And they reached under a bottle of Hecate oil and a Bridges cross to get the $10 bill.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's just...
Good luck.
You got to be a special kind of piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
But... So that was $20 less that went to the food pantry, you know? And the most amazing thing that came out of this was that we were, you know, everybody's talking about it because, you know, we didn't publish their faces or because they looked like they might be minors.
And you can't do that.
If they weren't minors, they're close to it, you know? They're really young. But we were, you know, talking to a customer, long-time customer, about it. And this man did the most amazing thing. And I think it pissed him off, too, just the thought of, you know, people stealing from the poor, from the ancestors, from the dead, from the store. And he donated $50 cash, so more than doubled the amount that was stolen. So if you're listening, I'm not going to name you because you wanted to be anonymous. But that was one of the kindest, most decent things we've seen in a long time, and that was just an amazing thing.
Restored my faith in my fellow humans,
you
for
know,
sure.
Like, just here's $50.
Yeah.
You know, so it doubled what the thieves helped themselves to.
Yeah.
And that was pretty amazing. And that's our community here, and that's the way most people are in this community, you know, and that's why we love you so much.
And I love being part of that, and being able to help you. Yeah. So I won't say that I wasn't mad. And I'm past it now, so I'm a little calmer. But yeah, I was mad. I was disturbed. I was hurt for the people who had the money stolen from them, because I consider this part of being in this community is contributing to the community. And that I think a lot of you do. I think a lot of that resonates with you. I see it. I see you in giving situations, some of the NEPA strong communities and stuff like that, where we find out a family was burned out of a house, you know, or we find out that somebody's lost their job and they're about to lose their home. and we all come together and make sure we protect that community member. And I think that's one of the reasons I love all of you so much, is because of how much you're willing to give yourselves, even when I know you're like us and you can't afford it, you do it anyway.
Yeah,
and I
no
think
doubt.
that's beautiful, and that's the entire point of community. It doesn't matter who that community person is. It doesn't matter what their religion is, what their political stripe is. That's a human member of your community struggling, and you reach out and reach down to help. And that's what you're supposed to do. So this really, at a very deep level, disgusted me. And I know that came through, and it was hurtful. It was hurtful. I was as hurt as I was angry.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So now, so we don't have a repeat of that, because we can't control who comes through the door or what they do when they're not being, looked at. Because we don't follow people around on the door. There's a curse on the altar. And, if you're dumb enough to steal from a witch store, hey, have fun.
Be
Good
bold.
time. Buckle up,
Go
buttercup.
ahead. Yeah.
Not only that, but the karma of stealing from the dead.
Yeah.
Not a good plan.
That's like the idiot I was with that took the dimes off the grave. I lost it.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah. Put that
Leave-
back.
Leave the dead theirs.
So when I go to
Yeah.
a graveyard, and I don't know how you do it, John, but when I go to a graveyard, I
Leave an
ask
offering,
I ask
yeah.
before I go in,
Yeah.
and I wait to see if it feels. And people are like, "What signs?" If I feel pushed, I don't go in. If I feel ominous, like heavy, I don't go in. I take that as no, don't come in today. We're just not ready for you. We don't want to talk to you. Go away. We're having our quiet time. I know that feeling because I don't answer my door at the house if you're not invited.
No.
But when I go in, I leave a gift of thanks at the gate. When I go to the graves I'm visiting, I leave dimes for the dead. When I go to leave, I pour a libation at the gate and thank them for giving me their time.
Yeah.
And that's just respect. And that tradition's as old as many religions. You see people leaving stones on the grave. You see people leaving gifts on the graves. And a lot of times I've noticed it's not just for their family members, it's for the graves that are adjacent. And I think that's beautiful. They make sure that they've got something too, that they left a little something. And one of the things I love to do is when I travel, if I'm going to a loved one's grave, I'll take something from wherever I traveled to and take it to their grave so they can feel like they were there with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's respect.
Yeah.
It should go without saying.
Yeah.
And even as a kid, I remember my dad, no, don't walk there. Mm-hmm. You're skipping through the graveyard like
Yes.
it's a playground. No, don't walk there.
Don't walk on their face. What's wrong with you?
Don't walk there. You walk around.
Yeah.
So the fact that these kids and look, they were probably not minors. They were probably 18 to 20.
Yeah.
They're close.
They're close.
And because we weren't sure, we went err on the side of caution.
We didn't publish the faces.
And the police officer advised us of the same. So we followed
Yeah.
his direction,
Yeah.
But you're old enough to know better and to know what you're doing is fucked up, and you stole from this community. You stole from the dead. You stole from the ancestors. You stole from the gods. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's like, are your parents even involved in your raising?
Look, I know people from all walks of life, and that's upstanding, blah, 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 to thieves and criminals, right? No judgment. We've all been in situations where times are desperate, and I get it. But even the ones that I know have done crime would say, I would never steal from a small business.
Yeah. Or I would never steal from the dead.
Stealing is wrong completely, right? We get that. But you're going to steal from a big corporation that's already screwing its people over and the community over and not paying their fair share of taxes and not doing anything right. Yeah, it's still technically wrong.
But I can look past that.
But compared to a small business where it's literally the two of us and it literally puts food on our table.
Yeah.
So we can eat, and we don't eat above our means. We pack our lunches every day.
Yeah.
We shop at Aldi's. We do everything we can to cost cut and to live simply. And, then you have people that have means that will come in and steal shit right out of your store.
Yeah.
And it happens.
And they do it all the time.
That's just the nature of retail.
Yeah.
You run that risk of a fucking piece of shit coming in and being an opportunistic douchebag.
Yeah.
It happens, but I get being hungry, if somebody's stealing food and they're hungry, that, okay, I can kind of see that, because what would you do if you had nothing and no other means and you were starving to death and you couldn't get anything? Okay, but to steal from a small business, to steal from an altar set up for donations for the poor.
Yeah.
We're poor too. There's been plenty of times in my life when I needed that kind of help.
Yeah.
And people were there. And so this is kind of our way of returning the favors that we once got.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to have three twats just help themselves like they're smooth criminals.
Yeah. Oh God, it could have been an episode of the world's dumbest criminals. It honestly could.
I mean, number one, don't come in and make a spectacle of yourself. There was no one else in the store except for one other couple.
Yeah.
You really stand out to the point we start watching you. And, I was like, I was more worried that she was having a mental break.
Yeah.
Because she was so fucking belligerent.
Yeah, and crazy. Just loud and erratic. I mean, I'm sure she was on drugs. I'm sure.
Yeah. Either that or having a mental issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, probably not a good plan for criminal behavior to go, hi, I'm a piece of shit. Okay.
Oh.
But anyway, thank you so much to our wonderful customer who is local to the area, who does care about the community.
And who has often put money on that altar, but still did that.
And gave of his own to try to correct the issue and to try to make it right. And I want to say your name so bad, but I know you want to be anonymous, so I'm going to respect that.
And yes, I did send up smoking prayers for your father.
Yeah. Amazing thing to see. And that's the kind of things that make us still get up in the morning.
Yes.
Because believe me, there's days. I mean, we were here at 8:30 this morning. We won't leave until 8
or 8:30 tonight.
And it's a long day, so it's a lot of work running a store. A lot of people come in and during the business hours, and that's all you do: sit back behind the counter and vape and surf on your phone. And oh wow, I want that job. Yeah, well, there's a little more to it.
I know they think I'm rude when I go, do ya? Do you think you do?
Yeah,
because it means no life.
It makes it worth it. All that having no life and all the other sacrifices you make so that you can be here and do the things that we can do. It makes it worth it to see somebody like that go, that's not right, and let me try to fix it. At least a little bit. So we $240 to the gathering place, and that was from y'all on the altar. And then that's going directly to the food pantry. It doesn't have any other routing. It goes straight to the food pantry to put goods in, dry goods, canned goods, toiletries, whatever people need, they supply. Shelves, and we cannot say how much the gathering place people rock.
Yeah.
And they do this. They do so much for the community, and
so
a lot of people don't even know they're there because they're kind of hidden.
Yeah.
But right next to the Clark Summit Police Department, there's a little, small little glass addition on the outside of the building, and that's where the food pantry is.
So it's on that little street between the gathering place and the Knicks.
Yeah.
That little side street.
Yeah,
there.
right off Depot. Yeah. And I mean, it's very clean, very nice. They take extremely good care of it. They keep it very well stocked.
The community does too. I've seen the community in there cleaning it up and stocking it.
Yeah. So say what you will about the Clark Summit community. They may not be able to drive very well, but
I don't think it's us too.
I don't think it's the Clark Summit locals, because when we moved here, everything was great, and I think it's a lot of these front plater people that have moved in.
It was very pleasant until we got so many people in here, and now it's so congested.
Yeah, they drive like they're in Jersey or something in New York.
They're still defensive driving when they don't need to.
Offensive driving.
Offensive, yeah.
And so it's not really the locals. So, but this community is amazing, and then it takes care of its own, and it really those ladies at the gathering place, if you get a chance, go in and hug a neck, because
Yes, they're amazing.
they self-sacrifice so much and they do so much for this area. And it's really a thankless job,
Yes.
So, but there's art classes, there's fucking, you
Weaving
name it,
classes, sewing
all
classes.
kinds of really
music,
great shit. It's arts and
food
culture.
classes, cooking.
And then,
Yeah.
and on top of that, manage a food pantry for the people in need, and never question anybody.
Yeah.
If you need it, you need it.
Yeah.
And that's
No judgment at all, and I love them for that.
that's exactly the way it's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
absolutely.
So couldn't be prouder.
That's why, even though I know it's a good way to get lifted, if people are looking at jewelry and it's in the case, we'll pull it out of the case and put it on the top of the case, and walk away and not make them feel hounded and
Yeah, I don't
hovered over.
I don't like hovering over people
Yeah.
or trying to make them feel pressured. Or I hate it when people do that to me. I can't make a decision when you're,
Yeah.
looming over me
or pushing me for one thing or the other.
Yeah, we will never do that. But so I was getting back to, as a result of these three dipshits, instead of leaving the cash out, Tay ordered 2 metal donation boxes that are lockable, and they're going to be bolted to the wall. Just unfortunately, we can't risk losing another amount of funds to thieves because they can't respect what should be respected.
Yeah.
So going forward, there's going to be a couple of green donation boxes. They should be here next week.
So thanks. I'm out like $60 for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's been a lot of money going out because of other people's stupidity.
Yeah.
And I'm getting real tired of it.
So I didn't get to stock the way I wanted to because I had to pay for an attorney this
Yeah.
month. And that was $1,000 right out of pocket right off the bat.
Yeah. He's
And,
worth every
yeah,
penny.
He is, absolutely. And then there was the boiler, and that was over $1,000. That was almost $2,000 for everything.
So it's been a Mercury and Gatorade time for us, for sure. And I know other people are going through it too, so I'm not going to complain too loudly because I know other people have it worse.
Heck no.
So, needless to say, we're taking our lumps right along with the rest of you.
Yes.
So we get it.
Times are lean and people are scared. And that's another thing I want to talk to you about today, John and I. There's a lot of you that right now we can tell because we've seen a few of you and you're terrified. We tried to hold some free LGBTQIA interracial marriages here yesterday for people so that they could get their legal stuff together and not have a charge for the officiation. So we had Jay and Sarah here, and they're both the wedding officiants.
Fully ordained.
Yes, and they were here to do any kind of ceremony, secular, whatever you needed, for free yesterday, and no takers. There was a ton of interest, but no takers. And as it got closer to the time for the weddings, I wanted to know why. So I started asking some people some questions about why they thought people would be scared to do this. And they said because they don't want to be documented.
Yeah.
They're afraid to be on record at the court as, married outside of what the incoming administration considers the norm. And they're terrified of what that'll mean for them. I don't think that I get the fear, but I don't think they really thought through the legalities. And a lot of blue states are going to be very protective of those people. And then there's the issue with wills and trust that it opens up for you because you are spouses and you can make sure that your property is protected. So we are going to do it again next month. I'm getting ready to put the event on the page, and they're also going to offer a non-papered, non-official ceremony called a commitment ceremony if any of you guys want to come in and do that. And it's going to be free. We're doing this as like moms, dads, brothers, and sisters of the community. And if anybody needs stand-ins, let us know for their mom and dads. We've had to do that before for a couple. We're happy to be mom and dad to you. So, we're happy
and
to witness.
there's always free mom and dad hugs.
Yes, absolutely. I give them all the time.
So.
Yeah, but don't be afraid. This is not the time to be afraid. I want you to look no further than Syria today and South Korea a couple of days ago and see what happens when the people refuse to cede their rights and their dignity to a regime. I want you to not acquiesce, do not bow, do not kiss the ring. Be yourself and continue to be yourself in absolute defiance of this kind of interruption and interference in your free expression of love and your free expression of your will.
Yeah, and they want acquiescence.
Yeah, that's what gives them
They want you
power.
to be afraid. They want you to cower. And
Yeah.
we ain't cut like that.
No, never going to bend a knee to this. Never to anybody, period.
And there's times you blend in, chameleon your way in so you can influence things. And then there's other times where you just flat say no.
I'm fully thinking about that angle.
You know, you just
I am.
flat out say no.
Yeah.
And you continue to be who you are, regardless of someone else's opinion or what kind of monstrosities are making quote unquote laws.
Yes. And a lot of this may be bluster too.
Most of it is.
It has been bluster in the past. And I know that you see he's assembling a team that God, they're a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
But I want you to look at the real Republicans on the Hill and understand the fight they're putting up.
Yeah.
And see the beauty in that, that the true Eisenhower Republicans, my people, are going, I don't think so.
Yeah, they're not going to stand for it.
And then they're blocking in every way, shape, or form possible. Everything that they can block. And they've got the power.
Oh, yeah.
The balance of power resides with them.
Mm-hmm.
So write them, call them, support them.
Be vocal.
They're there supporting democracy.
Yep.
So Republicans aren't against democracy.
No.
They're pro-democracy. They're pro-republic. So they're not them. They are not our people. They are not true Republicans. And so many of us are saying that. So write these people, write your representatives, write your congressman, write your senator, write your locals, and tell them what you expect of them. And you need to. And I know you don't think it makes any difference, but when they get 100, 150 letters, they start to get freaking worried.
Yep.
Yeah, because this reflects on what could possibly happen to them come next election or in the interim there in between. And I didn't say anything there. Except that you need to keep the fire under them.
Yep.
And you need to keep them worried about what they don't do, what they're going to get if they don't represent their
hold
their
them
people.
accountable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anything this week, and I know the mainstream media was really trying hard to keep us, pearl clutching and, how dare you celebrate this guy getting a hydraulic leak in the middle of Manhattan. What do you expect?
Yeah.
What do you expect from us? These insurance companies have killed so many people.
Yes.
They've ruined lives. They've ruined careers. And they just cash in left and right and center. And when one of them, there's a small little bit of retribution.
Yeah. We circle the wagons and protect that person.
I mean, how do you expect people to react? Mm-hmm. And
if you expected me to pearl clutch, you got another thing coming.
I mean, this is an evil person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Representative of an evil organization doing evil shit.
And of course the corporation is going to say he was such a good man.
Yeah, because he made him a lot of money.
Yeah.
He denied a lot of people. They had the highest denial rate of any insurance company.
Yes, 38% last year.
Yeah, something like that.
Of all claims. And these are, I want to point this out. These are people that were paying for the insurance monthly, paying their bills in good faith, putting the money into that insurance policy on the timely measure every single month and expected it to cover them when they needed it and were told that it would, who got denied and languished and died or suffered in insufferable amounts of not only pain and suffering, but the anguish of paperwork and the anguish of going back and forth with this insurance company and having to get attorneys to fight the insurance company, putting out more money, going bankrupt, just trying to live.
Yeah,
just trying to survive.
Can't afford to get sick in this country.
Yeah. So,
and I think, especially the way things are going with them trying to, or at least talking about removing the FDA or eliminating other than the medicine of the people, and we touched on this last episode, I think is going to become more and more attractive for people that do not have the means.
Yes.
And herbalism is going to be a pretty strong thing, like it always has been, but without big pharma there, if they're removed from the equation, people are going to be turning back to first medicine.
Yes, and I've been practicing since I was 18 years old.
And so I mean, it's kept me alive for how long?
Yeah, and I've not had insurance for how long?
Yeah. And So, yeah, there's something to think about, and we will do everything we can to keep us stocked up on the things that you need, and we'll be here.
Yeah.
Come
absolutely,
hell or high water.
Yeah.
You know.
And if they do loosen restrictions, it'll get a little bit more diverse here, because I'll actually be offering things that I can't offer right now.
Yeah.
For the rules. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're in direct competition with pharma companies,
Yeah,
and they've
yeah.
written the laws in such a way that it supports their activity only.
Well, I
you
think
know?
now they're really going to need it, because you saw China was talking about banning antibiotics and
Yeah.
banning acetaminophen
Yep.
and several other things, and I think they put that into effect.
Yep.
And so we may see some pharmaceutical bans. I'm waiting to see. I'm not gonna do the scare tactic thing just yet. But they did announce the other day that they were considering banning acetaminophen and antibiotics and several other drugs, along with these rare minerals or the minerals that they give to the industry for for developing
Silicone chips and all that.
Yeah, developing things of that nature, and for steels, there's some various building material minerals used for aerospace and things like that they provide that we can't provide yet, and we're on our way to trying to provide it in this country, but we're way behind, so it's really going to hurt.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't
Agrimony
make
is one.
laws against imports
Antimony.
until your domestic production is at level. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dumb Michigan kid, but first,
Yeah.
it was like this whole electric vehicle craze.
Yeah.
Electric vehicles, great. Yeah, we don't have the infrastructure to support it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then you got bazillions of electric cars sitting on car lots because nobody wants the fucking thing.
And honestly, the infrastructure to support it is so dirty.
Yeah.
It's so dirty and so damaging to the environment and the people that work in that industry.
Right.
We need to come up with a better way
But
to
the
do
point
this.
being, get your domestic
domestic infrastructure
straight
first.
and then go, you know what? We don't fucking need your shit.
you
Then,
dumbass.
whatever. You don't do that when you're dependent upon them, you fucking idiot.
And then Canada. Most of our lumber comes from there for the building trades, So we've got a whole section of our country here on the East Coast that was decimated by Hurricane Helene, and now they're going to get hit with tariffs on lumber.
And I've seen what companies do to communities. And I understand the angst about offshore.
Yeah.
I get it. I grew up in Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan was a vibrant, bustling community.
Beautiful community.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
General Motors was the main employer. And there's several factories all around Flint.
Yeah.
Well, we made everything from spark plugs to cars themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Engines and body parts, and we made everything. And then they decided it was cheaper labor to take it to Mexico and Canada, and all the community just imploded upon itself.
And now it looks like it's been through a war.
And it's a crime-ridden, you're at a stoplight, you look straight ahead community.
Yes.
Because if you laugh or you look at somebody sideways, you might catch lead.
If they want to see how it looks before the fall, before GM did this to them, and I'm just going to call your ass out, and AC Delco, I'm going to call your ass out too.
Yeah.
Before GM and AC Delco did this to Michigan, there were movies that we were shown growing up in school, the Motor City movies, that showed how beautiful and prosperous and what a bright and shining city on a hill Flint and Detroit were. Because of the industry, the automotive industry. And we used to watch those, and I used to be awestruck by them. I think Carl Sagan even had a voiceover in some of them.
I remember walking down the street with my dad at the barber shop, and it was just like everything was just awesome. It looked like a scene from New York City in the 50s.
Yes. So amazing.
All the store windows were full of displays, and it was just a great place to be a kid. And now it's been decimated because this corporation decided it was going to cost cut and take all those jobs out of the country. So I get the premise
and
as to why we want to bring domestic back home. And hey, that's great. More American jobs for Americans, skilled trade jobs for Americans, better paying jobs for Americans. Abso-fucking-lutely, all for it. But don't cut the cord until you're ready.
To support it, yeah.
I'm no statistician or strategist or anything, but it just seems like common fucking sense is to, okay, this is what's going to happen in 2 years. So you guys got 2 years to get your shit up to par. or we're going to punish the fuck out of you for bringing in shit overseas.
Or hey, what
You
about
know?
what about doing it like this? Okay, so GM and AC Delco left the United States with their product, but they started their business in the United States.
Yeah.
What about penalties for them?
Yeah.
For moving their business offshore.
Yeah.
What about some severe penalties for them that would be a deterrent to you taking your business
I mean,
offshore?
everybody's sick of the cheap crap.
Yeah.
I remember you bought a refrigerator in the 70s. That bitch would outlive you and your
could give it to
grandchildren.
your children, yeah, yeah.
It's still there's still probably 1970s fridges still chucking along.
There
no problem.
absolutely are. There's one running right down here
Yeah.
at one of the, what is the name of that appliance place? Dalton? Is it Dalton Appliance?
I think so, yeah.
No, it's not. It's the one that Liz went to. But they've got one that's running that still has the old pull handle
Yeah.
that you have to kind of pull it down.
Because
and
when
then open.
Americans build things, they build things with pride.
Yes, and now it's built for
know?
planned obsolescence.
And so they did this shit,
Yeah.
and you got a fridge, you better get the 10-year warranty on it because that
Yeah.
bitch is going to break about
Yeah.
50 fucking times.
Unless you pay for the $30,000 fridge, and then that's got a 25
I
year
wouldn't
warranty.
trust, but the $30,000 fridge, where's that made?
Yeah, I know.
America.
Yeah.
Because Americans take pride in
Yeah.
what they do.
Absolutely.
You know, I like Japanese cars because of their precision, but there's a whole lot of junk that comes out of there too that ain't worth a shit.
Well, I think you're talking
know?
more about, so the Japanese cars, we're talking about Toyota,
Subaru, Honda, yeah.
Those are all great brands, and they
Yeah.
all run forever. Like
Yeah.
I had 300,000 miles on a
They
Honda.
take pride in what they're doing, like
Yeah.
we used to.
Yeah.
You know.
But then you've got the Korean versions that popped up after.
blow motors.
Oh my God, they're terrible. They're terrible, and they're always in the shop, and they're always having to have warranty work done. It's freaking
Or you
awful.
get tools that are made in China.
Don't
whatever.
follow them. Don't follow us. Stop it. Build real stuff.
Yeah. You know, so, I get the premise
Yeah.
behind what he's trying to do.
Yes, I do.
I get that. And okay.
And I don't disagree with
but
it, but
your methodology is fucking ridiculously
Yeah.
stupid. Mm-hmm.
and why don't we piss off our allies? And why don't we piss off our countries that we've
makes no
always
sense.
done business with? That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but there's an R word in there I want to use, but it's sort of a
But
Yeah.
I'm boggled by the fact, and a lot of you guys are getting FO right now.
Yes.
How many people lost their jobs? How many people are getting laid off? How many places are closing down?
the steel industry. They had him in. What was
Yeah.
it, Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they had him in. He did a tour. They had talks with him. They had great plans with him, but they wanted to sell to Nippon in Japan. And it was going to make things better for them, and they were going to make a lot of money off of it, and it was going to make things better for the workers because they were going to have more money and they were going to have more support. And he's going to block that now. And they just found that out last week?
Yeah.
And they are beside themselves with anger.
But,
'cause,
you get what you voted for.
We tried to tell you
Yeah.
that he's got this thing about Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mexico that I just don't understand since he gets all his stuff made there.
Yeah. Well,
His
I mean, look at
Bibles, his
every.
hats, his
you can't
shoes.
watch Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Right, and they'll chastise somebody. Well, where are you getting everything made? Oh, we're made in the USA. Well, you should take it offshore.
Yes.
You can increase your profit margins X
Yes.
amount and blah. It's not about profit margins because if you got a shitty product, people are not going to buy it again.
Well, we would hope.
I mean,
Yeah, we would hope.
you sell 1,000 of them and 500 of them fall apart.
Yes,
because
and then the
there's
review
no-
stream goes up like, this is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now your company's in the toilet. Whereas you spend the time and money to have American made, it's going to be so much better.
Yes. And I'll tell you, people are looking at that now because when you plan obsolescence in a refrigerator, and that refrigerator only lasts 5 years, and that refrigerator costs $4,000.
Yeah.
Most middle-income families and definitely most families living below the poverty line are not going to be able to afford that fridge.
No.
They're going to have to do without. So you're being kind of stupid. You could plan those systems like that for your base unit. You get your base unit, and it's going to run for 20 years. But here's the add-ons you can get for the fridge. You could do things like that and give yourself longevity, and people would absolutely love you. They go, but yeah, I want that new and unique crisper, or I want the rollout, rails.
Yeah, but I don't
and
need a TV
shelves.
screen on my fridge.
No, I don't
need the
need
fridge
that.
to keep my shit cold.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
Just keep it cold.
Yeah.
I don't even care if the fucking ice maker is there or it works. I'll buy an external ice maker.
Yeah, that's what we did. Ours broke 15 times in the first 3 years.
You know, it's just they make junk.
Yes, they do.
You know, and they wonder why people are so dissatisfied.
Yeah.
And you have the nerve to charge $3,000 plus for this shit?
Yeah.
Fuck you. It's like the car industry. Pickup trucks, $100,000
What
plus.
the hell is
It's
that?
a fucking pickup
Yeah.
truck, dude.
Yeah. The pickup truck originated for the working man.
Who's buying
what
that
working
shit?
man can afford that?
You know, and if you're crazy enough to sign on to that for your $2,000 a month payment,
It's more than your mortgage. That was shocking.
Doesn't make any sense.
That was shocking.
Well, I can't believe the auto industry isn't doing good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why people are driving old cars and fixing them.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, our car's 10 years old. I got a great mechanic.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
He's amazing.
drive it till the wheels fall off and buy new wheels.
Yes.
Because it's a hell of a lot cheaper than a new one.
Yes, it is.
You know, and then when you get a new one, you get a fucking lemon because they don't give a shit about what they manufacture
Not in the
anymore.
least.
You know, and it's very frustrating as a consumer because it used to be when you spent that kind of money, you knew you were getting quality and it was going to last.
Well, people built
You
their
know.
brand on their name.
Yeah.
And their name was everything.
Yep.
And that's how we grew up. Like, you knew the name and you knew it was quality. You knew that it was Sears and you knew that it was Phil. Great cars that ran forever and were easy to work on. Now, nothing's easy to work on and it's all planned to fall apart. It's
Yeah.
all planned obsolescence. It's all planned
Yeah,
to fall
ask a
apart.
mechanic what they think about the new vehicles.
Yeah, they hate them.
You got to pull half the fucking front end off to get a starter out.
So that just increased your labor cost. Yeah, so you pay labor plus parts for any automotive thing you get done. And when it's going to take them 2 days to pull a thing apart just to fix it.
Just to get at it.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and look, all of these things add up, right? And it adds to the stress of the populace. You have shit that breaks down. You have politicians that don't give a shit about you. Only the ultra wealthy. And you wonder why people are despondent.
Yeah.
You know, you go to a church and all they do is preach politics.
Yeah.
You know, but they're still a nonprofit.
And there's supposed to be a separation of church and state.
You know, and you got people threatening that. You got Oklahoma shoving Bibles in people's face. And the whole world is just mad.
Yeah.
And of course, we get that weighs on the psyche and people are tired.
Yes.
You know, but think of it like a balloon. Like they just keep adding more and more and more on the shoulders of the working class until one day that balloon pops.
Yeah.
And now you got a CEO on the ground.
Yes. That's
And you
exactly
got
what happened.
The entire populace, save a few pearl-clutching apologists, cheering
Yes.
the killer.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, what would you expect?
What choice have you left us?
We have, if you don't give people an off-ramp,
Yeah.
you know, if you close up every loop they have for resistance or change or
Or
disagreement,
just happiness.
you know, if you close all that off, you own the Supreme Court, you own the government, you own the corporations. There's, you know, 3 corporations that own most everything in this country.
Yes.
And you don't give the populace an off-ramp, you close all the off-ramps, sooner or later, you're going to have a real big fucking problem. And I don't understand the lack of understanding.
I don't
guess
either.
it's because they've all lived privileged lives and they don't know what it means to struggle and worry
That's
what bill
precisely it.
you're going to pay so you can eat next week and what bill's going to have to wait so you can eat next week. We've been there, you know, and are a hair from it now.
Yes.
Okay. So I am just flabbergasted at the fact that they just keep pushing more and more and more. It's like, do you not really understand that there is a limit to what the people will put up with?
Yes.
And you don't want us to decide we're done with you.
Yeah.
I cite Syria.
Yeah.
They don't.
I cite South Korea.
And bear in mind, Syria is not an armed populace.
No.
Yeah, there might be some AK-47 stuck here and there.
Bye, Al-Assad.
But if you've never noticed that America is fucking strapped
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of people that know what they're doing with it.
And I
It's
love
not
how one
just-
side or the other thinks the other side isn't trained. Most of us were trained.
Yeah. We're just quiet. And
Yeah.
we don't have a cult
You
around it.
only bluster when you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
We don't measure our
Yeah.
manliness by the amount of
Yeah.
firearms we have.
Yeah,
But we do know how to operate them efficiently.
absolutely.
And I don't understand the lack of understanding
Yeah.
that you are pushing this population to the breaking point. And when they break, that's a flood like you have never seen. And we don't want that. Nobody wants that.
No,
And
but they're asking for it.
they need to give some off ramps and settle down, because this balloon is swelling.
Well, I tell
know.
you, people need to really pay attention to the corporations that are behind this. Like you see the Walmart boycotts. You need to start looking at the labels of your toiletries and your lumber and stuff for the label Georgia Pacific, because that's the Koch brothers. It's that little triangular label that says Georgia Pacific in it. And I remember when they came to our town and they bought out our big lumber mill. You remember Moncure and how bad they treated the workers and how the money went down and how many accidents they had they didn't care about. And OSHA was on their ass all the time, but they paid their way out of it constantly. The Koch brothers are some of the world's worst offenders. So you need to start looking at labels. Hobby Lobby, don't buy from them. They're paying for your untimely demise.
They're the financiers of all this horror.
Yeah.
You know, and why?
Yeah.
Well, they got a good sale in beads.
Yeah. And
Fuck off.
that good sell on beads just took away your rights as a woman. Okay? That good sell on toilet paper and paper towels just took away your rights as a woman. If you're a contractor and you're out there buying Georgia Pacific lumber, do you love your wife and your daughters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're very vocal.
Yeah, they are very
about their
vocal about
support,
it.
and they're very generous with their financial backing of oppression.
And stay the hell away from Sephora.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
I
You see
mean,
what they do
it's
with their
just-
money. Go to Ulta.
There are good companies,
Yeah.
you know, and it behooves you to look into what company. Like, look at Costco. That CEO hits the fucking shit if somebody even mentions raising the price of his hot dogs.
Hey, listen, they've been the same price for decades.
And they treat their people very well. They pay very well. They have very good benefits.
Yeah.
I wish we would get a Costco here.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yes,
we have
amazing.
one in Raleigh, and I love that damn
Yeah,
store.
we never went to anything else but Costco.
Yeah, and but there's more. There's more like that.
Yeah.
Not every corporation is an evil empire.
No.
A lot of them are.
Home Depot was involved in all this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money that they put out towards some of these legislations that are being written to remove you from your rights, and they're all behind using the army to kick your ass if you step out of line. You got to think about this. This is a policy that they're talking about using the army against citizens. Well, that's constitutionally illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're all about this, and they're all about taking away women's rights, and it's astounding. And then the LGBTQIA community, they're all about taking away their rights and taking away parents' rights to see to their children's health. And there's some things in there that I don't agree with kids, because I know that the brain isn't finished growing until you're 28 years of age. And I think that you need to give people.
You said 48 years of age.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people
that's
that's
how
not
long
even
it took
grown
me.
at 48, but yeah. But I'm saying that, chemically speaking and biologically speaking, the brain is not fully formed and fully functional until age 28. You're not done. You're not baked yet.
Well,
You're not
most
baked.
of these
Put it
people
back.
ain't got a wrinkle on theirs.
Yeah, I know. It's
Smooth brained as hell.
It's disturbing.
I'm like, just the stuff that coming out of their mouth, and it is just ridiculous. And you've got unelected people in there trying to make decisions for the American public, and it's, dude, take several seats.
Yes. And the people that they're trying to put in power
Yeah.
have never done the job before, don't have even the most basic understanding of the office that they're going to hold and what its governance means. Not at all.
And on the older generation that is on Social Security and disability or VA benefits or all the above,
you're in direct danger.
they're coming right after your shit, dude. I mean,
yeah. And they're letting billionaire, Musk, make these decisions.
yeah. And let's just say this: there are no honest billionaires.
No, none.
No one got to that obscene amount of wealth by being a good person.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You're a piece of shit, and you have no qualms about fucking any amount of people over to get to that level.
Yeah.
There are no honest billionaires.
None. Yeah.
And so to even hear anything they have to say is counterproductive.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they would lie, cheat, steal, step on your mother to take whatever they can.
It's literally all about the Benjamins.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, and to let this guy write public policy, and that's exactly what they're doing. Is it wrong?
Unelected.
Yeah, unelected. Writing public policy. And to threaten an entire country over him. Did you hear that?
And he's an immigrant himself.
Yeah, did you hear that Trump
Who
threatened
came here illegally.
an entire continent, actually, Europe, over him?
Yeah.
Because of their views towards Twitter, which he calls X, and I will never call it X. It's always going to be Twitter. Sorry, you stole that too.
Yeah, speaking of Blue Sky.
Yeah, Blue Sky's amazing. Great
highly
community.
recommend everybody in our community make a profile on Blue Sky. We are there. You can follow us there. The community there is so much better.
Yes, it's so embracing. They are so social and so open.
Yeah. I mean, we made an account on Lemonade too, but I don't see that really taking off.
No, it kind of looks like Pinterest crossed with Instagram.
Yeah. It's kind of I'm hoping Blue Sky adds a video format similar to what TikTok had, and I think they'll have a winner on their hands if they do that.
Yeah.
For right now, it's still pretty damn good. You can link videos there that will play. So if you host them on another site like YouTube, you can link them. So you do have some video content, but it would be great to have native video hosting there, like TikTok had.
And just remember, with that video content, you have to allow it. Would you please calm down?
Bella's very excitable this morning.
And somebody's upstairs. But no, you can allow it, but it will pop up when a video comes up the first time, and it'll ask you if you want to allow that content, and you just allow it, and then you can see all the videos you want to see.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
a lot
not
of us
quite
have
the
migrated
same,
there because people don't want to migrate to Meta.
No.
Because they're part of the problem with TikTok.
Absolutely.
So, them and AIPAC and Biden all got together and destroyed TikTok and banned it this week. And it's gonna go offline in this country, on the 19th of January?
You know, and what I find funny is that they banned it for national security.
Yeah.
But a bunch of senators that actually voted to ban it have TikTok accounts, and they post on it regularly. Okay, so I'm a threat to national security, my little puny ass nobody in Pennsylvania, but you as a representative of the country, it's not a security risk for you to be on there? Interesting.
Let me just lay out for you what actually happened. AIPAC got really pissed because people were live on TikTok in God help me, I'm losing my mind. Palestine, showing the deaths and showing the murders and showing the genocide that was happening there, showing it live, streaming it, and people from all over the world were watching.
Yep.
And boy, did that piss off AIPAC.
Nothing blows a propaganda balloon like a big old truth pin. Mm-hmm. You know, no, here it is, the video. It doesn't quite line up with your official bullshit, does it?
They got very, very upset about that.
Yeah.
So they paid a bunch of senators and congressmen, and they got old Zuckerberg in there behind them too, because it's good for his brand, if TikTok goes away, because TikTok was hurting his brand.
Might get his market share back. No, you're not, dude.
If you want to know about American Israel Public Affairs Committee, go and look at all the donations they just recently made to every senator, every congressman on both sides of the aisle, every political candidate that was running. Go and look at the money that they put into the American public to wield that sword against anybody who speaks out against their genocide.
I'm sure people are going to be like, well, Picky Weeds is on Facebook and Instagram and Threads, so what are you saying? We're there because that's where the population is.
There's no real choices.
We don't
so please
really
make a choice.
Have a choice right at the moment because
please build something different.
It has the bulk of the populace because, that's just what people are familiar with.
And I realize it takes a lot of money to build something to compete with Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
But remember, he didn't build it. He stole it. He literally can do this. And this is my appeal to you. Please build a better social network.
Yeah.
And please build one where people actually have free speech. Because I understand that some of the pearl clutchers don't want to see some of the things that other people have to say. But when you abridge and infringe upon anybody's free speech, we get what we got now.
Yep.
People trying to infringe and abridge all of our rights. This is the slippery slope that comes with if they want to yell Nazi stuff. Let them yell Nazi stuff. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to listen to it.
Just block it.
You don't have to read it. If they want to read racist stuff, put their ass on. If they want to put that out there, put their ass on Front Street. Share it on social media. Say, look at this douchebag.
Yeah.
You know, there's power in free speech that you're willing to let them take away from you.
Yeah.
And it's really disturbing because this is how republics fall.
Yep.
This is how they fall. It's when you get too many Karen Pearl clutchers in the room. And they're like, you shouldn't say that.
And we're fighting each other
Yeah.
instead of fighting the 1% who are just laughing and sipping their champagne.
Yeah. I want you to be able to say whatever it is you want. But I want you to understand that somebody's going to say something back to you. There's consequences for what you say, but you still shouldn't try to silence anybody. It's like the book burnings and the book bannings. You shouldn't silence anybody, no matter how you disagree with their message. What you should do is turn your backs on them and walk away.
Yeah.
Or put them on Front Street and treat them like the children that they are. And that's how they learn. They're never going to learn if you don't teach them.
Yeah.
Children don't learn if they're not taught and they're not raised correctly. It has to be consequences. They have to suffer consequences for their actions. And those consequences shouldn't affect everybody else around them by your bannings and your infringement on rights to free speech.
No, I agree.
Yeah. It's disgusting, guys. It's disgusting that you're so willing to be offended. And I'm saying that. You're willing to be offended. You're literally going out there wanting to be offended.
Yeah.
When that means that you have no control. You have no self-control if somebody else can offend you. Do what I do and smile at them and laugh.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous.
I don't even mean to sometimes, and I insult somebody
some of
by
the
doing it.
dumbest
But when they say it,
mouth.
I can't help it. I just crack
I'm like,
up.
Are you fucking kidding me? Did you just say that out loud with a straight face with your whole chest?
Oh my
Really?
God! And that is the best medicine. God, it makes them crazy. And for God's sakes, don't call them sweet pea. They lose their shit. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it's in the South, it's a term of endearment, but yeah, I was using it sort of insultingly.
Oh, sugar
admittedly.
britches.
But if I'm really mad with you, I'll call you sugar britches. Sugar britches. Oh, or I'll say, bless your precious little heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the power that you have. Stop your damn pearl clutching. Stop trying to control everybody else.
Stop hiding in your house.
Yeah, and stop hiding in your house.
You know.
Get out here in the street and say your damn piece and be yourself.
Yeah.
Fly in the face of everybody, even me. Fly in my face. Be yourself. Fly your flag.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
Yes, absolutely. That's a beautiful thing.
Yep. Absolutely.
And you're scared to come out ever since the election. And you're giving him exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
How about stopping that?
First rule is no acquiescence.
Yes, that's absolutely the first rule of stopping a dictatorship. Yeah. Absolutely the first rule.
Yep.
So I've yelled a lot about all this stuff. And people have asked me time and time again to give you information. I'm going to give you a little bit today. And a lot of these can be found in your kitchen right now. Right now. It doesn't have to be anything special. And then some of them, I want you to grab these items just to keep on the side for when you have really, really bad infections and really, really bad flu. But let's start with the ones that are antibiotic that are in your kitchen right this moment. Garlic.
Mm-hmm.
Take a clove of garlic, crush it up, put it in another one, which is active against gram-negative and gram-positive bacteria, which is honey, and swallow it, okay? Ginger is in everybody's kitchen. It's really great antimicrobial, effective against respiratory infections and digestive issues, okay? It's anti-inflammatory, too, so if you've got some pain that's coming from swelling, use it. Turmeric. Everybody knows turmeric. Here is the caveat with turmeric. If you have turmeric in your kitchen and you're using it as it is, the molecule is too large for the bloodstream to absorb. Okay, so you're going to want to take that with black pepper. If you're using the black pepper, you can't just put the black pepper in it like some people think. You can just put it in the pill or you can put it, in the powder and take it. No, that black pepper, you want to activate it by putting a pinch of black pepper in some boiling water and letting it steep just like you would tea. Then put that in whatever you're eating, drinking with the turmeric, and that will help. Black pepper's bioperine. It'll help break down the molecules. It also opens up the blood flow, speeds up the metabolism, so it helps you absorb all the medicine better. There's thyme in your cabinet. Thyme contains thymol. It's a natural compound with antimicrobial properties. It's used to treat respiratory infections, and it's a natural, get this, antiseptic. So you can actually use thyme water on your skin. But thyme is one I burnt during COVID. I distilled down to it. I made an oil, and I put the oil in the infuser and burned that in the back room in the shop because it kills bacteria in the air. Oregano, rich in carvacol and thymol, and it's antimicrobial, and it's very, very strong. It kills viruses and fungi and bacteria. Manuka honey. Get the prescription version of it. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to get a doctor's prescription for it. Get the strongest strength Manuka honey you can get. It is labeled that way. It'll tell you what strength it is. Licorice root, antigraphis, elderberry, garlic mustard grows in your yard. Cranberry, okay? Cranberry prevents bacteria from adhering to the urinary tract. There you go. So it helps with UTIs. There's so much here, guys. Grapefruit seed extract. But the ones you really want to keep in your cabinet during this season that are actual herbs are echinacea and golden seal. And they are incredible for everything that's going around. Echinacea, the common cold. You also want to keep elderberry for flu viruses. Don't take it until you're feverish. Echinacea and golden seal are really strong antibiotics, both of them. It'll reduce, echinacea, actually, like elderberry, reduces the severity and duration of symptoms once you have them. Golden seal is very strong antibacterial, and it's rich in berberine. So you've heard a lot of people talking about it being nature's Ozempic. It's commonly used to treat diarrhea and urinary tract infections, but it's really good anything gastrointestinal, any kind of influenza. And also, what they don't say a lot about golden seal is one of the things I love the most about it. You can take the leaf and powder it and snort it, and it will wipe out a sinus infection in short order. And those things are things that you really, really want to have in your cabinet. And I would suggest, unless you have an autoimmune disease, that you keep astragalus in your diet every day on the daily, because it's a prized immune boosting herb. So it also helps treat respiratory infections. So get these things and get them in your cabinet. There's a list of 25. There's a blog post I did on the web, on our website, www.pickyweeds.com. Go to our blog and look for, I believe it's titled, it's titled 25 Herbal Alternatives to Antibiotics, Nature's Answer to Combat Infections. Mm-hmm. And it's all listed there and all very easy for you. And some of these can be used as teas, tinctures, it's fine, however you want to use them. I would say tincturing in 100 proof alcohol is going to be the most efficacious because it's going to be the strongest extract. So there you go. That's my herbal for the day. I was asked. I did it. I've been a good girl. There you are.
Yeah, and also, it's just another thing. Look, don't panic if something happens and you can't get certain drugs. You can't get medicine.
Absolutely.
We got you.
Yes, we got you.
We got you. And, herbal medicine takes a little bit longer to be, to feel the effects. Now, pharma is kind of designed to be pretty fast.
Yeah, but it's pretty harsh on the body.
And harsh on the body, whereas herbs, you're getting the full spectrum of the herb. And it took about 2 or 3 days sometimes for me to really notice the effects, like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But once they're there, it really is like a little protective bubble.
Yeah, and it's far more effective over time. Yeah,
a bubble of flowers.
Yeah. So I think the thing most people don't realize with medicine, pharma, most of those, up until recently, were synthesized from one bioactive compound in the herb. So an herb is a full support system. Yep. So it has all the other supports in the herb, all the other bioactive compounds that make the body recognize it as an actual food and not an enemy. So when they take them out and they synthesize them down to the lowest common denominator, that's a harsh way of saying it. I shouldn't say it like that. They're taking out the most bioactive element of that herb that they feel is useful for whatever thing they're treating. And then they synthesize that to make that compound stronger. then when you take it, the body goes, what is this foreign object in my body? And it starts to have side effects trying to combat whatever's going on. So the synthesized medicine is meant to kill whatever's in you, but it's not meant to kill and support. It's not meant to eradicate and nourish. And herbs are meant to eradicate and nourish. So that's why they take a little longer, because it's smaller doses of the bioactive compound all at once. So you have to kind of add them up over time. So if you're having something that is chronic, that you're treating it long term, then you're taking a quarter to a half teaspoon 3 to 4 times daily. If it's acute, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of irritation, a lot of inflammation, then you're taking an eighth to a quarter teaspoon every couple of hours throughout the day until the symptoms abate, and then you go back to the maintenance dose. But herbs, just like medicine, you don't want to stay on them long term to treat a complaint. You want to do until the complaint has passed several days. Usually a complaint has passed and then 5 days more on the herb to make sure it keeps it tamped down. And then you want to take a break and you want to go back to just your nourishing herbs and your nourishing foods. Diet is everything.
Oh my God.
Diet is absolutely everything. Because herbs over time, if you take them too much, there are many out here like the fabulous, very, very famous there for a time, ashwagandha. If you take too much ashwagandha, it can do massive liver damage.
Yep.
So people were taking it because they thought, oh, it's this wonderful herb for stress and anxiety, and it's adaptogenic, and I'm just going to take a ton of it every day. And they were drinking it by the gallon. They would make it and just drink it all day. And I'm like, why do you have liver damage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you need to take breaks, just like with any medicine.
I think the tendency is that they don't take it seriously.
They don't.
We touched on that
they
last
consider
week,
it a
too.
food.
You know, well, it's just an herb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes out the earth.
So's nightshade.
Yeah. Yeah. So's nightshade.
You know.
And uranium is just a mineral.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be, self-aware here.
It's like some of the stones that we have here. Some of them are completely safe. And then some of them you have to be careful how you handle them or how they're taking shape. So if they're raw, you don't want to handle raw malachite without gloves. But malachite tumbled is perfectly safe to handle. Just don't put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
You don't get it wet. Yeah. Because it's 50% copper, so it's very toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as long as it's tumbled and polished,
it's fine.
It's fine. It's not toxic.
Yeah.
But I saw a child put peacock ore in their mouth, and I lost it. And it's like,
yeah, parents, please pay attention to your children when you're in the store.
Yeah.
Please. It's not a playground. It's not a place for them to run around and yell and scream. And there are pointy things. There are sharp things. We don't want to see anybody hurt. So
yeah. And some stones magnetize.
Don't make us put a big-ass ugly sign on the door to mind your kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't want to do that. Don't want to be that person.
We don't need their arrangement skills on the clothing that we just spent spreading out and making look nice.
Yeah.
To have them squish everything together and just stupid shit like just pay attention.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, please.
If you can't pay attention to them, maybe leave them with grandma.
Yes.
Look, their kids are kids, right? And they're going to have fun, and we want to see kids come in and have fun.
Yes.
And a lot of kids are really into the crystals, and they just really like it, and that's awesome. We love to see that.
And there's some really great parents.
And there are
too.
some phenomenal parents out there, moms and dads. But then we have some that maybe could use some guidance. I know retail store owners, if you're listening, I know you know what I'm talking about. Please be responsible for and make sure your children are under control because we worry all the time that somebody's going to get hurt, and we don't want to see anybody get hurt, and that includes putting stones in your mouth. Yeah. Moving stones all over, so when people are trying to find one, is this a dendritic opal? No. That is a picture jasper because some youngin decided it would be great to resort the rocks.
It looks pretty in that bin.
I'm going to resort your rocks.
But listen, all that aside, some of these stones are magnetic too. Yeah. And if a child or a dog swallows them, they can cause the guts to twist.
Yeah.
And gut twisting is deadly.
Yeah, please, just pay attention. Yeah. And, but above all, don't hide in your houses, people.
Yeah.
Now is not the time to be pearl clutching and afraid.
Now is the time to gather and come together as a
Yeah.
community and strengthen our bonds and our associations so we can protect one another. Now is the time to be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No
Absolutely.
greater time than now. No greater time than now. Love you guys. Come see us.
All right. Have a good week.
So we hope you enjoyed this